Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Phoenix Talk. I'm the Phoenix Warrior. Today I'm being joined by Kawaii Keeper, and we are going to talk about video games. We've done some serious talks over the last few days, or the last few weeks. We're going to make it fun. So Kawaii's going to join me. We're going to talk about games that are coming up later in the next couple of months and next year that we're excited for. We're going to talk about maybe a couple that we're not excited for that look stupid. Because we know there's been some stinkers. Call of Duty is a hot topic with how badly it's gone down the drain, and Vanguard coming out next month. So, with that being said, if you guys are fans of Kawaii's, I'm going to grab her information. I have most of it already on hand, and it'll be posted in the video description. Also, when it goes to Spotify, we're going to get her information there as well for you, so you can look her up and harass her about other games that you guys might be interested in, or tell her that she's wrong and that she needs to figure shit out.
Give me your opinion on it.
So, for those of you who don't know Kawaii, she streams on Twitch. She is a variety gamer, so I thought this would be perfect when she volunteered for this, because being a variety streamer, she can talk about various games, and I'm sure her game interests that are coming out span multiple genres as well. She plays anything from horror to shooters like Fortnite, a little bit Apex. She's starting to dabble in Call of Duty again. Found out she's into racing games, which I would not have expected, to be honest. So, again, a little bit of variety. So hopefully she can give you guys some good insights to the upcoming games. So, jump right into it. Which one has got you most excited that's coming out?
Okay, so the one that's got me the most excited is actually coming out next year in March.
Okay,
So I know that you've played the Borderlands series.
correct.
So have you heard of the new game they're coming out with that is based around Tiny Tina?
I was just actually looking at that. I watched the trailer on that this morning, and it looks actually pretty interesting.
The second trailer they put out for that was my favorite, though. I was like, this captures her personality completely. Um, but no, so what they're doing is they're taking the concept of in Borderlands 2. I don't know if you played the DLCs at all.
No, I just went through the main stories, and
Well, in Borderlands 2, Tiny Tina actually had her own DLC,
mhm.
and it was all like role play esque. So
That's what I
that's
was
what,
reading up on. It says it's a
yeah.
tabletop role playing type feel to it.
Yep. So that's what they're doing with this game. They're expanding on that and they're making it into a role play shooter. So they're bringing Borderlands guns into a role play setting.
Okay, that actually it seems interesting. I've never been one for that kind, but I've tried branching out into other areas myself.
So so think D&D with guns. I don't know if you've ever played like Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah,
but
I've dabbled in that as well. Like I said, over the last 6 months, my genre has expanded. I never felt that I'd find myself playing D&D, but to the point where is I even have my own D&D dice.
oh my goodness,
Yes.
yes. But
So,
yeah,
yeah, it
that
definitely
game,
looks interesting. I was just reading up on it, so it
yeah.
looks like they're going to be doing the spell casting, the shooting, mixing it with that kind of a genre, the
And
whole series.
dragons, and I'm like, yes, I'm living for it. Let's go.
Um, so for me, we're going to jump back and forth here. For me, one that I'm probably the most excited for, and I was talking about this yesterday a little bit, is Halo Infinite. Not so much because it's a new game, but Halo is just part of my childhood.
Yep.
Literally, my very first Xbox game was Halo. So
Same. That was one of my very first ones, so I could see it. Yeah.
yeah, but for me, my concern is Halo 4 and 5 just kind of was like the decline of Halo for me. 4 was decent. 5 to me, I wasn't thrilled with. The campaign was alright. They tried to continue the story and everything, but I don't know. It felt like it took away from the original. Now, what I was
Yeah.
reading up on it, and there's been a lot of reports because they delayed it, they've been making changes to it and everything, is that they're trying to style it kind of like around a Destiny kind of server theme where they can expand upon it within the game itself.
Right.
Um, and I think that's what I'm excited for, is seeing how they can keep adding DLCs and expansions to the Halo world that way. Um, but the multiplayer is taking a serious turn because I was watching Tim the Tatman's TikTok clip, and they got grappling guns now that you can chase people
Oh my
with.
goodness.
So I'm watching this clip, and he grapples onto somebody's back, and he's just being dragged along with him, and ends up being able to shoot him in the back because they didn't even realize it. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but for me, and my all my memories from a kid, like when it comes to video games, are Halo because my stepdad worked for Microsoft. So we got an Xbox 3 months before Xbox actually hit the market for the public. And the very first game we had was Halo. So for 3 months, I was the cool kid on the block, and everybody wanted to come over and play Halo. So, I think that's really, it's more the nostalgia for it. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know if you're much of a Halo person.
I have played Halo on and off. I
Okay.
didn't play the newer ones because I was very much like you. I was hooked on like how the old ones were set up and then how it progressed. I think it has potential, honestly. I am pretty excited to check it out
Yeah.
just because, as you know, I'm a high Splitgate
Yeah.
promoter over here.
Yeah, you mentioned the first one. So, like, Halo 1 was decent. I mean, when you look at graphics-wise, comparing it to now, if we're talking quality of, content and everything,
Yep.
it was okay. Graphics obviously got better with 2 and 3, and everything kept expanding from there. Halo 2, I think that's the big one that everyone talks about. Halo 2 and 3 is always a hot contested one.
Yep.
A lot of people loved Halo 2 the most because of being able to dual wield weapons and everything. And then Halo 3, everybody just seemed to really enjoy the storyline behind it. And the multiplayer experience seemed to be pretty good for everybody. That's when they started introducing was like the bubble shields and all that kind of stuff. So, curious to see if they bring that back or how they expand with the, the abilities that way. Having jetpacks now and, like I said, the grappling guns.
Jetpacks and grappling guns.
It's a weird combo, but it should make the multiplayer interesting. So a couple of guys in the chat here, Gamer and Toxic Chimp, are talking about Splitgate. So I know we said we're going to talk about upcoming games, with Splitgate being out. I haven't really dabbled in it, so I'm curious to see what your take is on it and what your opinions are.
Splitgate to me reminds me a lot of Halo's like multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
It does have jetpacks. It has a variety of guns. And it can be just as frustrating as playing like the original Halos and stuff. That's a lot of what it reminds me of. And Tox has actually played it with me quite a bit, and he can tell you the frustration with that game.
Right. I know a big part of the game is actually being able to add the portals so where you can jump from one side to another.
Yep. I'm bad at portals. I'm bad.
Funny enough, I hear a lot of people talking about that the portals aren't actually used as much as the game was anticipated to be used with. And I'm watching streamers, I see that a lot. It seems like the maps, it comes down to how the maps are laid out, where it's typical Halo style, but they didn't allow, like, by making it a Halo style map, you don't really need the portals to jump around the map, with the different levels and stuff. Basically, everybody here is saying, Gamer and Talk saying that Halo is, or Splitgate is Halo with Splitgate is like them having a baby, basically.
Yeah, it's basically Portal and Halo having a baby and being able to walk through the portals. The one thing, though, is people will stand in those portals so that they think you can't see them.
Right.
But you can shoot them right through. I did some ranked games last night, so...
So, how would you expand, or what would you like to see change to it if they're going to continue to expand it? Since we're talking about upcoming stuff, obviously, people seem to be loving it to the point they're obviously going to be doing updates to it at some point, making some changes.
They do need to do some work on their guns themselves because a lot of them don't do enough damage, or are just the hit markers are terrible. They can be real bad in that game.
You mean when you say the hit markers? Do you mean the hit markers or the hit boxes?
Like hit boxes.
Okay.
But yes. That's the one thing I can say. Please improve on that.
Now, is it that the hitbox is too big or is it too small?
To me, it feels like it's too small.
Okay. So I don't know if you ever played Rainbow Six. That's been a big topic of contention for Rainbow Six players. Is that some of the characters, their hitboxes are normal, they're decent. Mm-hmm. But then you have the one character, Ash. Her hitbox is so tiny. Like in order to really hit her, you've got to be lasered centered on her head if you wanted to get her.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Splitgate. you have snipers, but it's hard to hit your snipers in that game. Okay.
Yeah, Toxic Shrimp says it's super fun, Phoenix. We definitely need to play it. Absolutely. I've got so many games that I try to play that there's just never enough time in my day to play it. But he agrees that hit regulation is terrible. So
Yep.
that hopefully that would be the one thing. I know it wasn't. If I remember correctly, the developers are saying they weren't expecting Splitgate to take off the way that it was. So
No, they put it out just to kind of test it, and it took off with a
exploded
bang.
pretty quick. Half the
Yeah,
time I go into Twitch and to look at what games are the most popular being streamed, and Splitgate is actually beating out Warzone half the time.
that's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, Warzone is on the decline. Splitgate seems to be rising. It's got that, a lot of it people are saying is because it's got that Halo-esque feel to it. So I think if they stick with that, but just make some tweaks, maybe bring out some new maps, change, maybe make it to where the portals can. Personally, I would say maybe just make them randomly too. Make it like a random portal. You put it in one spot, but don't put the second one, and it just drops you somewhere on the map, and you got to kind of jump with
See,
it.
that would be fun to me. I would use it then.
Yeah, definitely would change the way people play it because it could be just maybe a quick escape for you, but that's just based on what I've seen. Because all I really did was a tutorial, so I can't say much more personal
Yeah.
experience wise. As far as upcoming games, getting back onto that, is there anything else that you're looking forward to?
Let's see. We have okay. I know we have both played the beta for this game, so Back for Blood comes out in what, just a few short weeks?
That's
I
right.
am
It's
super excited for that.
where is it here? We need to go to October here. I've got the entire list of the
October
upcoming game
12th, I
schedule.
think it is.
Back for Blood is October 12th. Coming out for PlayStation 5, Xbox X, PlayStation 4, Xbox
Just
One,
in
and PC.
time for Spooky Month.
Yes. Okay, so Back for Blood for me, it was basically Left 4 Dead. I know everybody's like, don't look at it that way, but it basically that's really what it was. It was straightforward. Granted, they added some interesting points in what was it in the beta, the troll monster thing that they had at the
Troll
beginning.
monster, yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on it?
Altogether, I really liked it. Just playing the beta. It did remind me a lot of Left 4 Dead. As much as people said, "Hey, don't compare them," it's basically the third Left 4 Dead for me.
Yeah. Anything that you would change to it, or
Honestly, I don't think so. They seem to do pretty well with this one.
mm-hmm. It wasn't glitchy even for a beta. There wasn't any real
Mhm.
glitches to it. It didn't have any long loading times.
Nope.
I was pretty impressed with it.
For a new game that was still being developed, yeah, I felt like they hit it right on the mark there.
Sorry, we got Nightbot being a pain in the butt in chat. So
Typical Nightbot. You know what I tell Nightbot? Be quiet.
yeah, basically, I had to turn off all the moderation settings to it. So
Oh no.
I'm not sure what exactly Gamer did here, but apparently Gamer's misbehaving in chat. She got timed out already. So, and we're only a few minutes into this.
Gamer, tisk tisk.
um,
Nightbot put you in timeout.
but the gun registry was, for me, it was actually interesting. There wasn't the hitboxes were good, the variety was good, ammo clips were everything was good. The zombies weren't overpowered, but they
Nope.
weren't weak either. It wasn't too easy at the same time. To me, it was very much you gotta have the team kind of feel to it, which I
Yeah.
liked. I remember Left 4 Dead had gotten to a point where you could basically blow through it by yourself and not even think twice.
Yep. I remember that.
God, it had been so long since Left 4 Dead. I was so excited for Back 4 Blood when I was watching the trailer for it. I was like, this is Left 4 Dead. I miss this game so much. And it's like you said, just in
On
time
your
for
thing,
Halloween,
yeah.
so you know that it's going to explode for the first couple of weeks.
Mhm.
Everybody's going to be playing it because all these streamers that love to do spooky, like you said, it's the spooky games for the holidays. So I'm curious to see, especially for the streaming world, how it plays where it takes off really quick.
Right.
'cause I know-
Especially for being a newer, like, zombie-esque game.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Call of Duty that has zombies, but what other than that, other than, what is it, zombie? There's not a lot, really.
Even Call of Duty Zombies, though, has gotten highly repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any upcoming horror games that are coming out for Halloween since we're talking about that?
That's a good question. I actually haven't seen very many, to be
Back for
honest.
Blood seemed to be the only one that I saw. I'm looking through the list here coming out in October. There's really nothing. Hell Let Loose looked a little bit of a spooky game.
I know I don't think there's anything coming out near Halloween, but there are some spookier games coming out. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know that there is can't think of the name of it. I just saw it last night too.
There was this one. Into the Pit had like a horror-esque but magic spellcasting feel to it. You're fighting monsters and stuff, and I was looking at that. Not sure how I feel about it just on the initial impression, but
Oh
since we're
no.
talking about spooky games, I've always been one that when it comes to games, I'm pretty much set in stone. That's why it's been so hard to actually set a schedule now to play a variety of games. I
Yeah.
dug my heels in for well over a year. I would never play Fortnite, and now here I am playing
And
Fortnite.
now look
So
what happened.
um, I never thought that I would be considering playing Forza. I've got Forza in the works to add into my game schedule. The Evil Within, you definitely have got to add that to your rotation at some point.
I actually am in the middle of downloading that right now because you suggested it. So I was like, hey, I'm going to
It's
check him out playing it. And I watched you that night and I was like, okay, this is getting added to the list.
um, yeah, gamer saying she begged me for so long to play Fortnite, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. And then everybody in
See,
chat,
now he can't say no because we've gotten him to play.
yeah, and now it actually opened my mind to actually play more games and stuff. I was just looking through the list again. Another fun one that I definitely want to add to my rotation is the newest Jackbox Party Pack. They're coming out with a
Ooh,
new
I
pack.
love
Yes.
Jackbox.
I haven't done a good Jackbox party in a while, so it's definitely something I'm looking forward to see what they bring. Um, but it comes down to you need the right person to host that too. That's kind of the.
Yeah.
I've seen some people who can host it and some who can, and it's really a drag. Like you got to have somebody who can bring that humor and that entertainment to it.
Yep. Yep.
Um, Maybe get a little drunk in the process.
I
Phoenix.
have friends who host Jackbox parties and they do great jobs. They
Yep.
fit the role. And then you get the people that are just like,
Well, I've
this
watched
is
some.
fun.
It's like Marbles on Stream. That was my first time
Yeah.
ever really hosting Marbles on Stream. That way, I'd done one over a year ago, back when Z Penguin was doing his. He had started streaming Marbles on Stream, and he asked me to do one for him, and I was like, "Those are some big shoes to fill." Because if you know Z Penguin, the dude is just he's like the reincarnation of 10 comedians rolled into one.
I
Um,
feel like for that you'd have to be, though, to make it entertaining.
yeah, and but he did a great job, and so that was the hard part for me. But then just stepping into, it, we decided to do it, last week, and I actually had a lot of fun with it. And everybody was like, I really was only here for the laughs at that point, so nobody cared about the games. So, um, but yeah, Toxic Chimp says, "Don't worry, Phoenix. I still strongly dislike Fortnite." I
Yet
can't
he
even
still
say I
plays
dislike
it.
Fortnite though. I can't actually say I dislike it. It actually provided a different element that I actually enjoyed, and I didn't have to build. It was fun, irritating the hell out of Kauai and Samantha, and who was it? Smitty playing with all of them
Yep.
because they were like, "Well, wait, he's gone. He's not building anything, and he's off fighting everybody." And then I had more people coming in saying, you could actually, piss off a lot of people in a good way by showing that you can get some high kill games without having to
Yep,
build.
without
So,
having to build. A lot of people get annoyed about that. The thing with Fortnite, though, is you have to have a good team
mhm.
that you can have fun with. Because if you have a team that's super serious about it,
Yeah.
then it's intimidating.
And that's the same way with any kind of team-based game like Call of Duty or Apex. Though, is you can have if you have a team of sweats and tryhards, great. You guys are going to work well together. If you have a team of just comedians, it's going to go great. And you can
Exactly.
have that mix. If you have that mix of people, that somebody who's a sweat and somebody who's just there to have fun. Since Gamer's here, I'm going to use her as an example. Gamer and I always gamed pretty well together because it was a balance, and it's the same thing with you. When I game with you, I don't
Yep.
have to try. I'm not knocking on anybody's gaming skills here. So before I can game with the two of you pretty well, and not I can sweat, but you guys still manage to
And
make it to
have
where I
that.
can laugh.
Yep. Yep.
Other people I've played with, and there you go. It's like game and chemistry, gamer. Thank you. Um,
Exactly.
and that's the thing with any game that I look for now when it comes to multiplayer is that I don't I don't want to play with just anybody anymore. I can't play with a variety of people because I don't have a chemistry with anybody, hardly anybody anymore. So
Yep.
that's why I've been enjoying playing some of these story-based line games. Um, The Evil Within, getting back to Assassin's Creed again. Hell, I've even contemplated breaking out the Call of Duty campaigns again and just playing those to stream. So,
Yep.
um,
Just for a storyline, I get it.
yeah. Another good one that I've seen that's coming out next month as well that I'm excited for is Ori the Collection. It's coming out on Switch. I want to bring that. I want to play that again. I've played it on Xbox now. I've played it on PC. I've beaten it. Like, I loved Ori so much. I actually, for months, I went to the developers. I said, "Hey, can I please be your tester? Can I please get access to stream this? I love this that much." The graphics were good. The story was good. And Ori and the Will of the Wisp is the first video game that ever made me cry on stream.
Aw.
I cried. I really did. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen it. So the part that made me cry. So in the first one, Ori finds he makes friends with a baby owl at the end of it, and that continues over their friends. And then the two of them get stranded on an adventure, and so basically you have to go and rescue your baby owl friend and then find your way back home.
Yep.
About a third of the way through the game, though, the baby owl dies. He gets killed, and you actually have to sit there and watch his funeral. And it literally made me cry because the graphics are so good. He was so freaking cute, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I sound like a. But I literally sat there when I watched it, and I was like, and I was actually tearing up and crying from it. And I was like, I actually got up and I was so mad that they killed him. I walked away. I literally put my controller down and I left. And I was like, I came back 5 minutes later. I was like, all right, we're good. Let's try this again. So that's how much I actually got into a game. That is the most I've ever actually gotten into a game before since I think Modern Warfare 2 when they killed Soap in the campaign. I was actually in shock at that one. Are there any other games, since I kind of stole the spotlight from you here, that you're
You're
looking forward
fine.
to?
You're totally fine. I like talking about it. See, that was It Takes Two for me on the emotional part.
Okay. I haven't actually seen anybody even stream that yet. So tell me a little bit about that one.
So It Takes Two is a story-based game, and you have to play it with another person because, as the name says, it takes two.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically follows a storyline about a mother and father who are going through some real bad things and not realizing how it's affecting their child, and the storyline just is trying to bring them back together essentially. But if you haven't played it, I highly suggest finding somebody to play it with. It is very good.
I had heard about it, and Gamer had always promised me she would play it with me, but we never got around to it. I never even actually watched anybody. A lot of people have raved about it. I've seen people talking about it in streams and stuff. But I have literally I've never seen it.
I
Couldn't tell you
personally couldn't have streamed it because
It was
my
that-
friend streamed it, and he has on his stream me actually crying because of how it ended.
Okay. So it's got a good storyline and everything. Interesting.
It's
No, I have to
very
go and
good.
actually watch it then, I guess.
It was a very good story. It's got some humor in there too. There's this one character, he's a book, and he's very, very hilarious, tries to lighten the mood.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I know you're not a Call of Duty person, per se. You dabble. I'm looking at the
I
list in November.
Every single Call of Duty, I'm not gonna lie, I have.
I get that, but I know you said that Call of Duty is really not your thing as much. Let's put it that way.
Not as much as it used to be. I used to be a hardcore Call of Duty person.
I remember
I
watching you
think
grind out
Cold
Cold War
War-
when it first came out.
I think Cold War was like,
Cold War was
I have
a
mixed
huge letdown.
feelings. I have mixed feelings about it.
So my reason for asking, with Call of Duty Vanguard coming out, it's been such a hot contention, with the mixture, with the updates that it's going to do with Warzone, with the updates it's supposed to be doing with multiplayer, storyline-wise, because I was reading up on it, and they're basically recycling the Black Ops storyline, where they're bringing it, it's supposed to be like it's supposed to kickstart the Cold War line, when he gets brainwashed and everything. They're going to explore a little bit of the backstory, I guess, during the World War II era, and then Cold War, it's supposed to kind of lead up to Cold War from there. So as far as the game itself goes, is there anything that you're looking forward to?
I don't know. I've watched one person play some of it, and I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest.
Um, I love World War II history.
Mhm.
I think that's going to be the biggest attraction for me. But Call of Duty these days has been, and I say
All
this
over
being a
the
huge
place.
Warzone player, so I know what everybody's about to think. It's a letdown. I'm just not as stoked for it. It's just, I know where my abilities lie.
Yep.
Um, and I know with for some people, it's the graphics wise aren't going to be good. I was talking with, I was in, who was it? We were talking about this in, I think it was the epilepsy call for the epilepsy ambassadors, and people like Gamer wanting to be able to play it because of the photosensitivity to it. So
Yep.
like they've got a lot of tweaks, and they may lose a lot of player base to it. And I know a lot of people are disenfranchised right now because they're promising a anti-cheat mode when the game releases. But people are dying for it now, so a lot of people are
We,
pissed and like,
yeah,
um,
and that's a lot of reason why people have left Warzone, because they have been talking about it, but it's not soon enough for people.
yeah. And the problem is now with any anti-cheat, when they start announcing that they're going to do an anti-cheat, now there's already hacks to get around the anti-cheat system.
Yep. People will always find a way around the system. There's no way you're gonna
Yeah.
stop that.
However, other platforms seem to be able to do that just fine. So, like Z League is the tournament site that we use. The team that was supposed to have won last night, they got caught hacking and
Oh no.
and so they can figure out how to do it on other platforms, but they can't figure out how to do it for the game itself.
Also, congrats on your guys' win last night.
Thank you. I'm
What
trying to
is
look
that?
at this game that Gamer.
2 this week now?
Yes, that's actually back-to-back days for me. Gamer put a game in here that I'm trying to look up. I don't know if you heard it. Layers of Fear.
Layers of Fear. I think I've heard of that.
So
Are they doing a new one?
player
Or
takes
they
control of an artist who has returned to his studio. His initial goal to complete his masterpiece, and the player's role is to figure out how this task should be accomplished. The challenge comes from puzzles, which require the player to search the environment for clues. Okay, so yeah, I can definitely see this one being right up both your alleys from the games I've seen you guys play. So,
With us both having a love of spooky things, I could see it.
being anywhere from being plagued by rats to figments of schizophrenia.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. This I could
So
definitely
that's
see
going
coming
deep,
at
yep.
being a spooky game to play. Is that coming out in October? That would be the big question. I don't see this in the list here. No, it doesn't look like it's coming out in October. But it looks like it's already out. Might be, it looks like a franchise here. Yeah, because it's on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Microsoft Windows, and Nintendo Switch. Story. Oh, she's only talking about from the storylines. Okay.
Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, I was just looking it up because apparently there's Layers of Fear and Layers of Fear 2.
Yeah. That might be another one to add into your rotation, though. Because if you're talking about being
May
plagued by
have
rats and
listened to that
schizophrenia.
yet. Right?
And I can see why Gamer likes it, but, so. Let's see, what else we got? There was another one that actually looked interesting that I know you said you've played. Oh, there it is. The Skyrim Special Edition is coming out in November. Is that I can see that being something, especially with playing Final Fantasy. You've got Final Fantasy Endwalker coming out at the end of November.
I did see that one, and I need to look into that one a little bit more because I haven't heard anything about it. So.
Oh, and they did actually give an actual date now for Halo. It's December 8th is coming out.
Ooh,
Okay.
right before Christmas.
Right.
Everybody's gonna be playing that for Christmas.
Among Us is finally coming to PlayStation, so all the PlayStation players will finally get to do their Among Us on their consoles.
Aren't we supposed to be getting it on Xbox too?
It should already be
I
on
have not-
Xbox, I thought.
I haven't heard anything about it,
That's a good
and I've
question.
had people ask me, and I'm like, I don't know. I am an Among Us
Among
player,
Us
but
should
I
have come
can.
out to every console. Once they realized how quickly it exploded like that, they
Hmm.
should have immediately done that, in my opinion, because if they would
Yeah,
have gotten more engagement, more interaction for it.
they
Among
would
Us
have blown
available
up
now with
then.
Xbox Game Pass. So yeah,
Huh.
it's been out for.
I'll have to look then.
Yep, it's at GameStop right now for $29.99 if you want to buy it on disc.
I'll have to look at that because then next time we do a Among Us night, it will be. I can choose which place to do it.
What are we rimming? Toxic Chimp, you're gonna have to explain that a little bit because I don't see anybody rimming anything at the moment. Skyrim. Gamer says she's only made it 5 minutes into that game. I grinded every Elder Scrolls game.
Oh, Skyrim. Maybe that's what he was talking about.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Um, every Elder Scrolls game since they started, I have basically played that. My favorite, I think, hands down, will either it's going to be Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Yep.
To the point, I even had the when they came out the expansion one where they added the what was it, the ice or the snow island off to the top that was it the top
Yep.
left corner of it. Um, I remember spending as a kid. I got really pissed because I was getting my ass kicked by bears constantly. So,
The only problem I have with them releasing this again, because what is it, like the sixth time they've released a Skyrim game?
hmm I know in Game Pass right now, Morrowind's back. You can download
I
that and
saw
play that
that.
again. Um, looks like, but now they got Skyrim. Oblivion's been there for so long, and Oblivion I wasn't ever overly thrilled with. It was decent, but when it comes to when you compare to like Morrowind or Skyrim, I don't know. It just didn't have the same feel to it. I
I don't
guess.
know. I never had a pull to Oblivion, so I never really played that one, but I've watched a lot of videos on it.
hmm
Skyrim had a huge pull on me though, just
Yeah,
because when that came out, the graphics just like were eye-catching for me.
right. Now you play a lot of, if I remember correctly, you play a lot of Elder Scrolls Online, correct?
I do actually. I haven't played it in like a month though.
Gotcha. So if you compare it to, say, Skyrim, for example, which would you say? Would you say the online, or would you still go Skyrim if you had to pick one or the other?
I love the online, but it basically, if we were going to change the name of it, it would be Skyrim Online
Okay.
because that's a lot of what it is. It's
Because you
more
can't
like a
really interact with other players, right? It's still single based, or is it?
no, you can play with people on there. You
So
can
you
have
can.
a group of people on there.
Okay, because I remember when it first came out, that actually wasn't a thing. You know, yes, you had other players, but you really couldn't do anything with them that kind of made it worth my while. If I was going to play
Yep.
Skyrim online, or if I was going to play Elder Scrolls Online, since we got that stuck in my Skyrim Online, Elder Scrolls Online, I want to be able to do it
Basically,
like I want to. They should have treated it like WoW from the beginning, or say
yep.
New World, which we'll come back to. You know, actually make it to where you can get into groups and go and do the quests, be a part of the factions, and do all that stuff. And I think that's where New World is would actually win out really quickly over
Yep.
Skyrim Online.
Elder
I
Scrolls
got that stuck.
Online.
Elder Scrolls Online is that New World is already bringing that in to where you can do the PvP factions. You know, you've got the quest based stuff already and everything, and that's what I would have loved to see with Elder Scrolls Online. Since I get it right this time, they didn't have that the
Yeah,
first time that I tried it, and that's what dropped it for me, and I never actually went back. But if they actually have that now, I may actually go back to that.
They've done a lot of improvements to it, to the game, because, like you said, it was lacking things when it first came out. It was
Right.
so buggy, it lacked things that we really wanted, but they've done a lot of work and they've fixed those things. You still get the bugs just because it's an online game and you're gonna get those,
Mm-hmm.
but they've improved on a lot.
Okay. Um, let's see here. The other one that there was another one that I saw that I know you would like, and it was is it next year's? Yes, it is. I think you were the one who told me the Dying Light series.
The
Was that you?
Dying Light, I don't think that was me, but I have seen those.
Okay. I know they're bringing out a new Destiny expansion. I'm looking at this for February, January. There's not a lot, but there's a new Pokemon one coming out. That
Oh, I can say something about the Destiny. I've heard a little bit of that. They're going to be adding more customization into the game
they
and
need
stuff
to.
like
It is
that.
something that's
Yes.
severely lacking. Yeah. If
That
my,
would draw me back into playing it because I stopped playing it when Outriders came out because it was, hey, look, a new game like Destiny.
mm.
but the bugs for it killed that game for me, so I put it away for a little bit.
Now, this one I saved because I'm a dork when it comes to this. There's a game coming out next year. It's called Avatar,
Mhm.
and it's based off
Like
of the
Airbender?
James Cameron movie. So, is that who was James
Oh,
Cameron?
the blue ones.
Yes,
Okay.
they're the blue guys. They're actually bringing this out to consoles and putting that into a storyline, and I'm excited for that
Ooh.
one because the brief little bits that I've gotten and I've seen see of it, it's actually going to be an open world concept, kind of basically like New World and WoW and everything, but they're using the Avatar world and storyline behind it.
I'm
Uh,
actually pretty intrigued about that because I loved that movie.
um, Gamer talks about Far Cry. I've never, and as much as ridicules I'm probably going to get for this, and I said this before, I've never actually touched a Far Cry game.
You really should. They're really good. I'm
Far
just
Cry
saying.
6 is coming out. Um, and back to your Destiny 2, because Toxicchimp is in here is talking about this. He's playing Destiny right now. He said they've already added a lot of customization stuff as of recently. I actually haven't touched Destiny since the release of the what was it? Is it the Burning Light or
I
the
think so.
Beyond Light expansion?
Beyond Light.
Yeah.
Beyond Light.
So the new expansion is going to be called the Witch Queen. So it looks like they're going to be doing something with that. Because wasn't the Witch Queen part of one of the earlier expansions? She was one of the missions that you had to kill, like the queen.
I believe so.
Gamers talking about Humankind and Timberborn.
Timberborn?
I haven't seen
I
that.
think I've heard somebody talk about that game, but I'm not completely sure what that one's about.
Let's see here. If it's on
All
this
right.
list.
So I have a game
Okay.
that actually comes out next month that I'm also very excited about. And anybody who knows me, this might come to a shock because I'm actually excited for Forza, the new Forza
That's
Horizon.
right. That's coming out too. And that's one. I think that's the only reason why I'll ever stick with Xbox is it's going straight to release on the Game
Yep.
Pass. It'll be free as long
Straight
as
to straight to Game Pass.
yeah. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to do it. Um, watching a lot of the trailers, this is what actually has got me enticed to actually pick up Forza again. And I've dabbled a little bit offline with it,
Mhm.
just because I've never been one for racing games. But picking it up again for the first time in God knows how long, I've actually had a lot of fun with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got with
Yep.
the new Forza. Um,
It looks like with this one they're doing a lot with the graphics. They're making more social aspects for it. So like say you had a group of friends you wanted to play it with, or if you wanted to start like a racing league or something.
mhm.
They're adding a lot of that. They're actually making the terrains in the game evolve now. So like you would have volcanoes that would erupt, you
Mhm.
would have snow that falls, like it
Basically,
looks
trying to
really
make it as
cool.
realistic as possible when
Yeah.
you're actually racing. Yeah, exactly. When I saw that, when I was watching the trailer and I heard about that, I was pretty intrigued because I think this will be the first one where they've actually got that right.
I think so. And it's set in Mexico. So you got like you get to learn about the terrain out there cuz what do you think when you hear Mexico?
Basically, deserts and taco stands. So, no, I was watching that. You've got the countryside. You've got like there's some wildlife in there. The jungles. There's a little
Yeah.
bit of jungle area. But yeah, no. When you think Mexico, you think just dry, dusty desert type
Nope.
feel to it, and it's really not. I've been down there a couple of times in my life, and so a lot of people have that misconception. But thankfully,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more aware than I used to be. So, no, but the graphics wise looked beautiful. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they got. Just in a graphics wise, Forza is something I'm going to be checking out, even if it's
Yep.
just for a day or two. I might put it down and never come back to it, but I'll definitely at least be picking it up once. So that's how I'm ready
And
for what I am.
Xbox actually made a special controller for the game, and it is probably one of the most beautiful controllers I've ever seen.
Interesting.
It's yellow, and then it's got like splatters of colors on it, like you would see like on
Oh,
a
I saw
car and
that.
stuff.
Yeah, that looked really
It's
cool.
beautiful.
I'm trying to figure out how I can afford a new controller because I would love
I
to have
know. I
a
feel.
better than what I got, but I'm tired of
I
buying the
mean,
basic
mine's right
ones.
here. I can show you. I need a new one. I've had this. When I had my dog, he chewed off the grips off of
Oh,
the and the back is missing. So I
That's
feel you when it comes to controllers.
same thing. And this is a
I have
brand new controller.
no idea where my back went.
Yeah. The one that I just found, and I would love to get back into this, using this again, if I could ever find the paddles, is my Elite controller. I really would love.
Yep.
So if anybody out there is listening to this and you really, really like me, a good Christmas present would be an Elite 2 controller. So,
Right. I would love to have an Elite controller.
yeah, I miss the paddles. The paddles were beautiful when I played Rainbow. They came in handy big time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at Far Cry 6 here because you and Gamer were talking about it. What about it is enticing to you?
I really like, because with the Far Cry series, you have a storyline that you go by, and every storyline so far that they've done has been really well done, for me anyways.
Okay. So I'm going to keep up here with Toxic and Gamer at the same time. So Gamer's finally telling us about Timberborn. I don't think I'll ever actually pick this up based on her description of it. It's about being a beaver and owning a wood company.
Okay, so that's the one. I have a friend named Bear, and he loves stuff like that, and he told me about that. I was like, I don't know if I could play a game where I'm a beaver.
Yeah. So.
I don't know.
Let's see, and then she's saying medieval dynasty, survival with hunting, build and lead in the hard Middle Ages. That would be up my alley. I love medieval stuff like that. I've always had a fascination just for swords and everything. Little thing that nobody knows, and this will never leave beyond here, except when people listen to this. Half the time I'll pick up a broom or a stick or something, and I'll still, to this day, act like I'm sword fighting. Or I'll have a little fantasy going off in my head where if I could be, like, that's one of the reasons why I love Lord of the Rings so much, the whole sword fighting thing.
Yep.
Some of the moves that they do with their weapons and stuff. Legolas will always be my favorite, simply when he, in the Return of the King, when he slides down the elephant trunk and jumps off. So,
Hey,
little things like that.
Wrong with having fun, okay?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But another one, since we're talking medieval ages, Age of Empires 4 is coming out. I'm excited for that. I've loved those games. I'm terrible at them if I'm playing against somebody. I can win storylines and I can get the computer every time, even if it's on the hardest difficulty. But for some reason, I cannot outsmart somebody like an actual human being on it, unless they're just not strategy oriented. So if I was to play, say, against Gamer, I'm pretty confident in my abilities there.
I've never played one.
Yeah.
That's my husband's expertise.
But, like when it comes to like Command & Conquer, Red Alert, even Halo got into that style of games as well with Halo Wars, Halo Wars 2. I still dabble with Halo Wars 2 online a little bit. Gamer, I'll take you on and destroy you. Someday maybe we'll find out. Who knows? Age of Empires. I remember back when Age of Empires was it. They used to have I don't think it was Age of Empires. There was a different one that they had. It was a little bit more cartoony looking people, but we always had it on our computers and we were always playing against each other in class and everything. So I think that's where I got stuck with Age of Empires. That was just a good memory of saying, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck around in school," and sorry, my brain completely blanked out on me here.
He has one like that on here, and I was trying to remember the name of it. He has it on my laptop. It plays. I can't remember the name of it.
StarCraft, Gamer says, I thought that was already out. Or is there something new coming out with that? Let's take a look at it.
Isn't StarCraft made by the producers of Overwatch?
Let's see.
I think so. I think it's the same company.
I figured that'd be more right up your alley because that's what I heard too. That it was.
Maybe they're remastering it.
Could be. That might be. They're remastering a lot because I noticed with games now, a lot of the newest games, they're taking old storylines from other games, recycling it a little bit or remastering it just enough to where they can call it new. Don't see StarCraft in the list here. Gamer, are you sure? Are you sure that's a new one that's coming out? There is, but it's one of the ones like... Oh, she's on the Command & Conquer thing still. Okay, that makes sense. We're jumping into different topics here. they're coming out with a House of the Dead remake. Since we're on this talk about they're making remakes and remasters and everything. The
Yeah.
Walking Dead. You know, they keep expanding upon that. There's PC games with Xbox games. There's little apps and stuff, mobile apps and stuff now. I mean, I'm looking at this list here of things that are supposed to come out in the next few months, and there's a good long laundry list of them. These are just the big ones, you know. And then you get into indie games and everything.
There's
Um,
a lot of games that haven't even fully been like announced.
yeah, I know Fable 4 has been hiding in the winds for the longest time now. I've been keeping an eye out for that because the Fable series, I loved that series to death. And when they announced, I figured they'd be done with Fable 3 because they kind of hit every aspect of it that they really could. But Fable 4, I guess, is supposed to have, that they're saying is more of a futuristic feel with elements from the previous games, so
Interesting.
could be interesting. But then the trailer that they released for it had nothing to do with the futuristic feel. It was more of a fantasy world type thing, really getting away from like the city village type stuff to where, yeah, because the trailer that I saw for it was a fairy flying through the woods that gets eaten by a frog. Yeah, the fairy ends up getting eaten by a frog at the end of the trailer. So definitely a lot of mixed reports about that. They keep pushing it back, though, especially when COVID hit. They really delayed the hell out of it. There was rumors that they were going to bring it out 2022, but I'm looking at the list, and I figured this one would be on there, but it's not even on the list for 2022 yet, or getting a release date for it. Maybe next year they'll have something for that, but I love that game to death.
Speaking of games that are coming out next year, so we know that there's Overwatch 2 coming. There's a lot of mixed reviews for that game. I'm personally interested in seeing what it's all about.
I heard one of the biggest complaints that I heard about that was, and correct me because you're the Overwatch player here, Overwatch is 5v5 now? Currently, or is it 6?
I think it's 5v5.
5v5, and they're dropping it down to 4v4, right?
I believe so.
That,
They're going to be doing a lot of different game modes in this one too.
yeah, that was the big complaint that a lot of the Overwatch players seem to be talking about, is that whatever it is now, they're supposedly dropping it down a player.
Mhm.
But from what I heard, they haven't really changing too much as far as the go-to, like the basics. So I'm like, okay, so you can't play with the same people, and their thing is, because I've come to find out there are a lot of sweats on it. Well, yes, but we have our team, and it's set this way, so now we have to redo our whole team, and I'm like, what? Just kick the person out you don't like the most, you know?
That would be hard though, because if you have built a team that you work so well with, for me it would feel like, oh, I feel like I'm giving up my friendship because I have to kick you out of my team
Yeah,
now.
basically, I can see your point. It would cause a lot of issues. Um,
But that doesn't mean you couldn't rotate people. Like, say you were doing a game and you could always rotate in the other teammates as people had to leave, so.
right.
But I get it.
One that I can see you playing, and I see Gamer definitely playing, Slime Rancher 2.
Oh my goodness, I love the first one. I'm not gonna lie.
Is there anything? Have you seen the trailers for the new one? Have you seen?
I haven't watched the trailers for the new one, but if it's anything like the first one,
It seems a lot like it. It seems to be more just an updated graphics-wise type deal. I mean, obviously they'll probably tweak a little bit of the functions here and there, but I can definitely see that being something the two of you guys both play.
did you ever play the first one?
Didn't know that it was even a thing, and I'm looking at this trailer. I'm like, what
I
the
never
hell
knew
kind of
about
acid
it.
trip was this person on? Like,
I never knew about it until I was looking on Game Pass one day, and I'm like, what is
yeah,
this?
that's kind of. I was just like, what is this? To the point where I never even wanted to turn on because it looks like somebody was really on some seriously trippy acid deal. Like, and there's some weird
Like,
games like that, you know.
mhm.
In the EA Pass, what is it? It's the guy who looks like he's like a ball of yarn and he's got the string dangling behind him or whatever.
Is it Unravel?
Unravel, and they came out with the second one for it too.
Which is actually co-op on that one. The first one you had to play by yourself.
Yeah.
The second one they allowed you to play with others.
And again, that one was another trippy one. It was like, okay, who was high? Who was shrooming out on that one as well? So.
What were you doing when you came up with this game?
But you gotta get originality. It's games like that that ultimately you end up really loving the most because it's not something. It's not something that you can see elements from another game. You know, Destiny. I did not play Destiny for the longest time because I was like, well, this is just Halo. Why do I want to play another Halo game? You know,
Different graphics. Yep, I get it.
when Warzone came out, Apex came out shortly after that, but I didn't really touch Apex. I was like, this, it's just another battle royale. I'm already doing Warzone. I don't care. You know, and in Warzone, it took me a minute to jump into because like this is just Fortnite without the building. I was like,
Yep.
what's the big deal? And then but you really can find those games that you love when you actually start into and give them a chance. I never thought I'd love Ori until I played Ori and the Blind Forest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look at me, Gamer says, look at me in Rainbow Six. RuneScape. I'm sorry, it's old as I am and still grind it daily.
I've never played RuneScape. I had friends who were in my class that would be playing it all the time, and I'd be like, I'm gonna sit over here and
That's
work
actually
on.
surprising because I could see you playing Skyrim, with playing games like that, and RuneScape is pretty much just an older version, really, of Skyrim. So I'm actually a little surprised to hear you say you've never at least
I
tried it.
actually do want to try it. I just never have. I've never had the time to.
Um, if you have somebody that plays it, definitely would get into a game with them because Gamer actually got me to try it. Um, and I was lost honestly with I needed her in my ear kind of coaching
Right.
me through it. So if you're gonna do it, get in with somebody who can actually walk you through the basics. Once you get the basics, piece of cake from there. You know,
Piece of
it's just a
cake.
matter of grinding it from there.
That
Um,
was me with Minecraft when Minecraft, like, I first started playing it. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing in here, guys.
I never thought I would touch that game until so a lot of people don't know this, but my family and I we actually lost our homes. We lost our home several years ago. We moved into a hotel. Um, so when you're sharing a TV with your wife, your mother-in-law, and
Yeah.
your three kids,
Yep.
and you have two beds, there's really not a lot of comfortability on there. And my kids are playing Minecraft. My mother-in-law wanted to watch TV. I'm like, I'm bored as hell, and so I couldn't play Xbox obviously because the TV was being used because there's one TV. I was like, you know what, screw it. I bought Minecraft and I actually started playing on my phone with my kids, and I
Yep.
got so addicted to it. I go to work. My job at the time was actually pretty cool. I spent most of my days just sitting around doing sleeping.
I
So
need a job
giving
like that. Okay.
well, we only had specific tasks to do at specific times unless
Mhm.
something drastic happened. Um, I actually found myself sitting on Minecraft, playing Minecraft for hours and hours and hours. Um, so with that, it was again, you know, it's games like that that you never really expect to get into. Um, but going back to like Unravel and Ori and Slime Rancher, I never Ori I never thought I'd get into, and honestly, I probably would actually get into Slime Rancher if I actually picked it up and tried it and play it off and on here and there. But it probably
It
wouldn't be something I
is
grind. But
honestly a fun game. It's got a little bit of humor in it. It's very colorful. When I first turned it on, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. This just seems a little out of my comfort zone.
right,
I started playing it and playing it, and I was like, okay, it's not too bad. It's not too
okay. So throwing back to the old Ewok days here. Next
bad.
year,
Oh yeah.
there's a new Star Wars game coming up. Have you heard
Is
of it?
that the
Star Wars
19?
Hunters.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. I did hear that they were putting or working on a like remaster of the New Republic or something like that.
Yes, I
Somebody
did hear
told me
about
about.
that one as well. I just happened to see this one. The
I'm
reason why
curious.
I
Tell
asked
me
about
about this game.
so it doesn't have an official release yet date, but it's not coming to console except for Switch, but it's coming to iOS and Androids. Um, Star Wars Hunters gameplay unveiled during Apple event, so it looks like Apple's going to be the big one. It looks like it's going to be mostly a mobile-based game. It's the chaotic free for all between Sith warrior, bounty hunter, a Wookiee, a robot Jedi, Jawas, Ewoks, and others. So it looks like you actually are going to be like an Ewok hunter, or you have the option.
Yeah.
That's why I had to bring this up to you. I was like, have you heard of this? Going back to your old days as Ewok on stream. So
That makes me think of Battlefront 2, the new mode they had put in with the Ewoks, and you could hunt down the stormtroopers and stuff. Yeah.
Even Gamer is saying he used to be a fucking beast when it came to playing Star Wars games and stuff. So that's why I had to ask: is it something that we can see coming back with these new Star Wars games coming out?
I mean, it's a possibility. I do have to go back and play the Fallen Order because I had got so far. You guys watched me play it.
Mm-hmm. And then you
Xbox
stopped.
broke. Got the new Xbox. Save file was completely corrupted, and I'm like,
Oh.
no.
Oh no! Oh god, yeah.
But no, I could see some Star Wars stuff coming back. I just needed a break from it, to be honest.
Well, yeah, and when you get so stereotyped into one category, I get it. I still, to this day, a lot of people still come by like, no Call of Duty, no Warzone. What are you doing? No shooters? No, no. I'm gonna take a step aside from that for a moment and play this. Um, so no, I told you, I happen to see this one being a phone thing, and
I may have to check that out.
because I know you said you don't have a Switch at the moment, right?
Not at the moment. That is something in the future I would like to get because, believe it or not, I grew up playing a lot of Nintendo.
Oh god, yes. I still have emulators. I have an emulator on my computer where I play a lot of the old Nintendo games. I still got Mario Kart on my emulator, Zelda, Hexen. What's the other one? GoldenEye, like the original on the N64. Yeah.
Oh, I miss it.
Yes. I remember getting consoles to get, getting your friends over and you play Donkey Kong mode with slappers only, and you're running around with big heads and big arms, just slapping the crap out of each other.
Yep. I miss that game so much.
So any other big games? There's one last big one that I want to talk about. I want to give you a chance to talk about any last big ones that are coming out for you.
The last big one for me is, because you guys know I love anime. This goes on an anime that I fell in love with and finished in 2 weeks. Like,
Oh wow.
that's a big thing for me.
Okay.
It's actually Demon Slayer is coming out with their own game. They're taking it.
I heard about that.
They're making basically an arena type game, but it follows along the storyline, so you get to relive that
Mm-hmm.
as you're the one fighting it. You get to see all the big moments again, and it just, when I saw it, I was like, yes, this is something I need to play. I'm sorry, I need it.
I've heard of it. Haven't looked into it too much, so I'll definitely check that out. It actually sounds interesting.
The other thing that really pulled me into it is they're using the original voice cast from the actual show in the game.
Oh, okay. That would actually be. You don't see too many games doing that because a lot of licensing issues. Like the most recent one that I think with the Sea of Thieves Pirates of the Caribbean update with Johnny Depp in there, you didn't really have a lot of games that stuck with the original cast of, if they pulled from a movie scene.
Yeah.
So that would actually be really, that might get me into it just for that reason alone, just to kind of have that familiarity with it. But again, can't say too much as far as game-wise. I haven't really looked into it too much, so I'm kind of not looking at you for
I do suggest you go watch some of the trailers for it because they stick very much with the style that they had in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say from the show, just the artwork alone was impressive for me.
Okay. Artwork is something, graphics-wise, and artwork is something that always appeals to me. So if you're gonna vouch for that, then I'll definitely be looking into it. Definitely some good food for thought, especially for everybody here to talk about some games and stuff. I mean, the last big one, I don't know if you got a chance to try the beta, but New World.
I didn't get to try that. I've been told so many good things about that game, though.
It's basically WoW, but with humans. It was simplified too. There wasn't, with WoW. I'm assuming you've played WoW at some point.
I've watched people play it.
Okay.
I've always wanted to play it, but never ever got to that point where I've been able to yet.
Makes sense. So watching it will answer this, is you see all the different spells and the keybinds and everything that they can do, right? it's very simplified. You still have your spells, you still have your weapons, and you know your looting, your gear making, and everything like that. But they've made it to where somebody like me, who is not big on PC key bindings and things like that, and being able to move quickly with that, I was actually able to get into it and move around really well to the point where I was comfortable. I was happy just to sit there and chopping down trees and going and making my wood and armor and everything. So you know, getting into it, you got the different factions. This is where they kind of brought like almost a Elder Scrolls feel to it. They have different factions for the warriors, the spellcasters, and I don't remember what the other one was. I would have called it more like the Thieves Guild kind of feel. Um, so for me, it was like a Elder Scrolls WoW mixture, and it wasn't simple like with Splitgate when they were saying Toxin Gamer were talking about it. It's like they had a baby, and it's like a simplified version of it.
Yeah.
It's not like it didn't even give me that feel. They were the quests were very detailed. It wasn't overly simple as well, so you really needed to pay attention to your gear grinds and everything, and making sure that your weapons were up to speed, so that way you could do the right damage. It really gave you a lot just in the beta alone to grind for. This is for me as a streamer. This is definitely something when it comes out. Once I can buy it, I'm definitely going to be putting some serious hours into it. Um, they added the clan wars or the faction wars or whatever. So if you're with a friend and you don't want to be fighting their factions, make sure you're joining the same factions unless you really want to.
Right.
So being able to do that, they were already launching events and stuff in the beta, saying watch out for this to come out. Like they really went hardcore on it, and they did really well. Graphics wise was good. Um, the servers were so busy because everybody was so excited. That was the only downside to it. The servers were so busy. There were times I was waiting 10 minutes to get into a server.
That's like with Splitgate. There were times you couldn't even get into the servers because they were
Yeah.
so full.
Um, so for me, like that's the biggest one, and that's surprising coming from for me to say. Even in my own head, I'm hearing that, and it's surprising to hear me say that because with Halo coming out, um, Call of Duty, even Rainbow Six is getting into the shooter multiplayer, and that's coming out next year. So for me to say that I'm actually looking at something simple and open, an open world game more than anything else, that kind of shows you how like the game for me, how the gaming landscape is changing. Like shooters are really starting to become very stale, the story bases are actually starting to step up a little bit.
It's because there's been so many shooters
Mm-hmm.
for years. They just keep making more of them and more of them,
Yeah,
and
um,
people are craving that diversity.
exactly. And I think that's where when you see a lot of streamers, bring us incorporating the streaming element to the before we wrap this up. And give me your 2 cents on this. Is you see all the streamers who are talking about, well, my growth is slow, or I'm not feeling it on this, and you look at a lot of their content, and it's pretty much one or two games. They don't really diversify much, And with you and I have talked a lot, obviously, and you've made some Twitter posts. You don't usually say a whole lot about your content. You're more it's the interactions with people is where you see, not to throw your business out there too much, but I am maybe if correct me wrong, but for me, I feel like I'm happy content wise because I can pick up a game and enjoy it. If I turn a game on my stream, it's maybe it's not going to be the same thing every day,
Yeah.
but that's how I have to do it because I cannot play the same thing every day. I gotta have that variety feel to it, And looking at it and bringing like Call of Duty into it. Call of Duty is so stale because they're just basically recycling storylines and just
Yes.
polishing them up a little bit. Well, what do you think about that?
For me, I can totally see that. I personally do not like playing the same game all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There will be times where I'll play the same game,
Mm-hmm.
maybe back to back in a week, but that's because I'll have friends that will be like, "Hey, I haven't been on for a while. Would you like to play this with me?" And I don't say no very often. That is my toxic trait is I can't say no.
I'm the same way. I have a hard time telling people no also.
So, but that's my thing. And my biggest question to anybody is always, hey, if you feel like your streams have become stale, maybe it's time to branch out to something different.
Mm-hmm.
Pull in more people that like something different.
Right.
Because there's only so much that people can watch you play the same game over and over and over and over again until it just gets boring to them.
Right. Um, I think the only way playing the same things repetitively works for you is if you're somebody, say, since he's been in the news, really Tim the Tatman, somebody of his caliber who
Batman, yeah.
can. He plays. I've seen it. I've watched enough of his streams. He plays roughly the same style of content. Apex, Call of Duty, a little bit of Valorant. I've seen.
Fortnite.
Fortnite. I haven't actually seen him do Fortnite on stream.
He,
I've seen his
um,
TikTok clips though.
I've seen his clips. I don't think he plays it on stream as often as he used to, because he used to be a really big Fortnite player, and a lot of people don't know that. Like, he used to play a lot of it.
In a way, though, that makes sense. Look at most shooters, shooter streamers who have evolved. What I think, didn't Fortnite come out long before, for Battle Royale, long before any other Battle Royale did?
Let's see, it's been out for 4 years,
Then
actually.
it has, yeah.
It
Fortnite
turns 4
was the Battle
years.
Royale then.
It was like one of the first ones to come out. And it was geared towards kids when it first came out.
But look at how quickly it evolved. I remember the trailer. I'm thinking back now. I remember when the trailer came out. That was definitely interesting. But going back to what you're saying, yeah, definitely diversifying your content. So the last question, since this is supposed to be a little bit about you as well, you play a lot of group games, Dead by Daylight, Apex, Call of Duty, Fortnite, but you also play a lot of story-based lanes, Final Fantasy. We talked about a few of the other ones. Some of the Star Wars games, like the Fallen Order.
Yep.
Do you find yourself as more you like to play the group-based ones, like say Dead by Daylight, where you get into a party with people, or do you like more of the storyline type games?
For me, it really depends on how I'm feeling.
Okay, so when we talk variety, you're definitely variety. It's just
I am
okay.
full on variety. Actually, my plan is for October, I'm going to do a lot of just story-based single-player games. Because when I started, that's what I played.
Right.
It was just me. I didn't really know anybody back then. I didn't have a lot of friends who actually played Xbox that were on when I was. So for me, it really depends.
Okay. It's kind of how I am. I got into a point where if I'm going to play with people, it's got to be the same group at this point, just because I'm not quick to jump into parties anymore. But I'm actually on a story-based kick at the moment. That's why I kind of steered away from Call of Duty and Apex a little bit more. And then watching Gamer play the last couple of days Assassin's Creed really kind of revitalized my love for Assassin's Creed. And
right.
So, but with that being said, we're pretty much at the hour. I think we actually went over the hour mark.
I think we've covered everything.
I mean, we could talk for days about games. Like, I'm looking at this list.
We really could.
Yeah. But guys, Kwai, thank you. For anybody who would like to get in touch with Kwai about games and stuff, like I said, check back. We're gonna add it in the video description. I will post her socials, and the Spotify description, which will go up on Wednesday, sometime in the afternoon. Her socials will be there as well. So if you couldn't make the stream, you don't want to go back and watch it, but maybe you want to listen to the podcast while you're driving, it will be up on Spotify. We just got the approval for iTunes, so right now it's on Spotify and iTunes. I actually just watched the email come across my screen. It got approved just now, so so you guys can catch up with her at any time. She's on Twitter, she's on Facebook, she's on Instagram. You guys can find her anywhere. Just look up Kawaii_Keeper. Definitely find her on Twitch for now. She has made comments that at some point she might be moving somewhere else, but for the moment she's on Twitch. You can look her up, Kawaii_Keeper. Talk to her some more, get involved with some games with her some more. She loves to talk games. If you get her talking, she doesn't stop, so don't be afraid.
I like to have a good time.
Okay. I mean that with all the respect, because I'm the same way. You get me on its kick, everybody knows this too. You get me talking about something, I can go for hours and not,
I was going to say, we are similar in that way.
But guys, this has been another episode of Phoenix Talk. I appreciate you. We will be back here next Monday with a new topic. And keep an eye on Twitter. I will let you guys know what that is. And until next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye. And